Welcome back to the halftime show here on K105. It's time for another edition of Cougar Conversations. Today, we are going to be joined by Grayson County High School alum Mallory Thomas, who is the founder of Quade Films is probably the best way to describe it. Mallory, thanks for joining us. And I ask you this very simple. Is founder the right way? Is CEO, president, or is it just yes to all of the above?
I think I'm everything that comes with a business. It's funny that you say that because literally today, my best friend has started technically working for me to help me answer emails. So it's like one role, but I'm still sharing that role with her. But up until this point, every part of owning a business has been me. So
I guess now you really are the CEO since you have somebody underneath of you, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Quade Films. What's that?
So Quade is my middle name. My name is Mallory Quade Thomas. So I had started wanting to do videos, which is why films is what I used. And one day in my friend's group message, I was like, I need a name. And this was back in 2021. And I was like, Mallory's Videos. And they were like, no. And my friend Lauren was like, what about Quade Films? And I was like, love it. And it stuck. I do pictures now. I don't do any videos, but films, it's a universal term within the creative world. So it's fine. But yeah, with it has come some, I don't know how to word it, not necessarily issues, but a lot of people call it quad or quad-A. And I hear that more than I hear people say Quade. And so I always have to correct them and say it is Quade Films, not Quad-A Films, not Quad. So you got it right, which is nice.
Yeah, it does. Luckily, knowing your mom, it helps out a little bit that I was able to pick that up. But it doesn't help that there was a UK player a couple of years ago whose name was Quad-A, spelled that way.
Really?
Spelled the same way. Yes, it's probably been 6 or 7 years ago. Quad-A Green. I didn't think I was going to give him a shout out on today's edition of this. But and you can correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to this, but I think it was safe to say that you are like a lot of students when you left high school that you didn't really have an idea what exactly you wanted to do when you left.
No.
How did this come out then from this?
So I graduated high school thinking I was going to do interior design. I don't know. I changed my major when I realized that interior design included math. That's how little I knew about it. And but the one thing that stayed consistent in my high school years, my college years, is I knew I wanted to own my own business. So I ended up changing my major in college to business management, but I didn't know what type of business I wanted to own. And then as I was going through college, my now fiance and our friends, we would go to a lot of music festivals, and I wanted to film music festivals. And so I started to think, well, I could do that as a side hobby and maybe work like a marketing 9-to-5 job. I really had even when I graduated, I had no idea. And I was very blessed and fortunate to get my first camera as a graduation gift from my parents. And I got it thinking I was going to continue my side hobby of films, which was at that time wedding films. And here we are. I made it into a full-time career and never got a 9-to-5. I was like, this is what I love. This is what I'm going to do. When I got into the picture side of it, I just felt even more in love with it. And I was like, I'm going to make this work for myself. And here we are.
You take pictures for weddings, you'll take couples photos and everything that goes into that. I don't think many people probably understand what all that goes in. I think for probably the average person, if they're going to a wedding and they see the person taking pictures, they're probably thinking, oh, they're taking pictures. And then later tonight, they'll throw them up in a Google Drive, send them to the person, and then bang, it's done.
Yeah.
It is a lot more than that, I know. What is the process? Let's say that it is a wedding. And today, a bride messages you and says, Mallory, I want you to shoot my wedding, and it is going to be October of 2026. What's the process for you?
So I'm actually booked all of October 2026. So I'd be like, I'm booked.
How about 2027? Let's say that.
I know, I'm just joking. So I'd send them my pricing guide. They'd go through all of the packages, and then they tell me what they want to book. I'd send them a contract. I'd send them an invoice. They'd pay a retainer, and then we'd start the planning process. Some of my packages comes with an engagement session, so we'd plan that. We have to come up with a whole day of schedule, and I have to work with them to make it personal to them. I never want the process of being their wedding photographer to seem like I'm looking at it as a job. So I have to connect with them and understand them as a couple, as people, to meet their needs. Because it's, like you said, a lot of people do think it's just clicking a button. And there's so many different sides of photography as far as like the physical aspect of it, all of the camera settings that people don't even, there was verbiage that I had never even heard of until I started learning camera settings and how they all work with each other. That's hard enough. But then you take the emotional connection side of it that you have to find with your couples to be able to photograph one of, if not the biggest day of their life, personal to them. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost, is it's so much more than showing up and taking pictures. If that's how you view it and you are doing wedding photography, you don't need to do wedding photography. That kind of gives like a overview of the mindset. It is so much more. So I'd get to know them, we'd create their schedule, and then they would send me some inspo. They'd show me more into what they're thinking. Then we'd come to the wedding day. Whether you have a planner or not, a lot of the times you are taking pictures a lot of the day, and I never want it to feel like a photo shoot. So that's another thing. How do you take pictures and make sure it doesn't feel like a photo shoot? That goes back into that connection side of it. The whole thing. But me and your planner, or sometimes just me, we will run the schedule of the day. We will make sure things are on track. They are steady. You are not stressed as the bride and groom. You are having fun. Again, it doesn't feel like a photo shoot. We are helping keep the vibe of your day and making sure that the vibe and the flow of your day is calm, but also efficient and effective, all the while doing our jobs that we were hired to do, which is take the pictures or plan your wedding or whatever. And then after, you go home and I back everything up. I always have things backed up into 2 places. And then you have to cull pictures. That means my best friend's wedding was this past weekend. I have to go through 11,000 pictures and pick the very best of those 11,000 pictures and then edit them based off of color, skin tones. I have to do touch-ups, masking, removing stuff. One picture can take, now, this isn't going to sound like a lot. If there's not a lot to do, it can take 40 to 50 seconds if you are just adjusting colors and you have a set preset or set base that you're using. But it can go up to a minute to 2 minutes. That on 1,500 pictures, I mean, it takes a lot of time that people don't understand. So yeah, that's kind of an overview.
You mentioned that visualization project, if I can actually talk, but how does that work? Because I mean, like I say, I have right here, just this is here an example of notes that I do for a football game. This is one from a couple of years ago, and it's the same realm. You know, we're doing a different thing, but we're both putting together a project and putting together a plan for how it goes on in doing that. Is it something like this that you do? Is it a mental one? How does that work?
Yeah, so I send out a questionnaire, and it asks a lot of personal questions down to like the music you all listen to. How'd you all meet? That helps give me an insight. And then doing that engagement session too with most of my clients also helps me. But we get on a call and we go through the whole day, times, what you're looking for, what you want to do in those times, how you want to do your bridesmaids pictures. Do you want more structured and posed, or do you want to turn on music and dance around? So we do that with every aspect of the day. We add in times for just hanging out and getting to breathe. And I'll write it in my notes app. And then ideally we'll have done an engagement session, and I'll take the whole timeline, make it all pretty, and put it over one of your pictures and send it to you. And that's what we'll follow throughout the day. So is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
I also don't want to put words in your mouth here when it comes to this, but I feel like you probably hit the jackpot when it comes to your parents as well.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously, we love Misty and Jason as well. Misty, member of our family and always will be. Can you even put into words the influence they've had on you? Not even just in this, but just in your life in general.
Oh gosh. I don't even know where to begin. Everything. every aspect of my life, my parents have had influence over in such a positive way. I am so beyond blessed with the parents that I have that I will wake up and thank God for both of them every single day of my life, even when they frustrate me or annoy me, as parents do. I'm just so, as far as my relationship with my fiance, my relationship with my friends, my career, all the way up to getting up and making my bed in the morning. My parents have had such a positive influence and impact on my life that I could speak highly on them for hours. And I don't even know how to put it into words. I have the best parents in the world, and I'm so thankful. They have always encouraged me and pushed me to be the best version of myself, even when they made me get a job at 16. And do you know how annoying that is when you're a 16-year-old and you have to work and you want to go to the football games, but you have to work at Subway or whatever? Oh, the fights we would get into, and she'd hold her ground. And I'm so
that sounds like her. That sounds like her.
And I'm so thankful that she did, because now I look back and I'm like, that's how I'm going to raise my kids. I had to pay for half of my very first car. I had to pay a lot of things in college that a lot of people didn't have to. And it was to teach me all of the financial burdens that come with life, but also how to manage them. And it was very frustrating at the time. But I will do the same for my kids, because it has taught me everything and then some. And I could break down everything that they've done in my life too, and how it has influenced me and impacted me, but it would take probably a full day. So that's just a little gist of the huge impact they've given me or had on me, and showed me exactly how I want to be as a parent one day.
You're a Grayson County High School alum.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any teachers that impacted you? Maybe not even just in high school, but just throughout your schooling years.
I had several. So the first one that comes to mind is, I think he's now the principal, Shane Decker.
Oh yeah, Miss Principal Decker, absolutely.
Shane Decker. So I started playing volleyball in 7th grade, and he was my volleyball coach. And I will never forget the impact that he had on me. He always saw something in me that I never saw in myself. He always pushed me to be better at volleyball. And then Carla Butler, she was one of the coaches too. And some of my favorite memories from school are from my 7th and 8th grade year playing volleyball, because the way that they cared about me as a student, as a player, and pushed me and just wanted me to be better was something I'll never forget. And then in high school, Gretchen Van Meter, she is someone I'll never forget, because she always had me laughing. She always made me feel happy. She always just had an uplifting presence, and she was so funny. And she's just someone that her energy and the type of person that she reflected herself to me is the type of person I want to reflect myself to others. Caro, she was Wilson for me, but Anderson, I did her video classes, and I just loved her openness and her honesty and how she was so true to herself. Those are a few. I could talk about several, but those 3 come to mind. 4 actually come to mind whenever I think of my school experience in Grayson County High School. Those 4 are gems that I miss. Like, I miss the times in my life when I was in their classes and getting to work with them through practices or things. They had such a good impact on me, and it's the type of impact that I want to leave on others too.
I can guarantee right now there's a high school student watching this moment, and probably fits into, earlier we talked about how you really had no idea what you wanted to do leaving high school. And there is nothing wrong with that, I don't think, in not knowing. What advice would you want to give that student, or maybe someone in college that is going down a path? I know, like my little brother, he thought he was going to be a teacher and then realized he didn't want to be a teacher. What would you give advice to someone like that is still trying to figure out what their future is?
Well, don't stress it. I think that as a society, we put a lot of stress onto it and make ourselves think that we don't have time, that we're running out of time. And my mom is a perfect example of, you're not running out of time. I mean, she just got her doctorates and her PhD and she's 49. You can always change the path of your life, but you always have to pray about it. And I'm big on that. I always prayed about what I wanted to do. I always prayed about my partner, my friends, and I've always said, I'm about to marry the man of my dreams. I have the best friends in the world. I'm doing a career that I could be a millionaire and I would still do it because I just love it so much. So always pray about it. Don't stress it. Look at your interest. Try things out. Try things and fail. Just be human and enjoy the process. But the pressure that we put on ourselves as a society is so unrealistic. You have to just live in the moment, see what you enjoy doing, and go from there. And find something that does not feel like work, which isn't always easy to do. And a lot of us don't have the opportunity to do things like that. But if you really try and you really keep looking and you don't settle in your career, I believe we can all find things that we can do for work that really align with who we are as people and our interests and our passions.
Couldn't agree more. One of my favorite questions to ask is sometimes the hardest one to ask some people, and it's, what's next? What do you hope for Quade Films to be over these next 5, 10, 20 years?
Oh, I have so many goals. That's another thing. Never stop setting goals for yourself, small and big, and always strive for them. That's what keeps us going. I think I want to do a lot of destination weddings. I want to travel the world. I want to go to Italy. I want to see my work in publications. I want to just continue to grow in my photography and grow in my creativity and never feel like I've plummeted. I don't think that you can plummet with creativity. I just want to constantly keep evolving and changing and getting my artistic message across to people in any way that I can. So a true answer, I'm not sure, but I just have goals to always go one step higher, one step more. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. I just don't necessarily know how to put it into words.
No, absolutely. I think it makes perfect sense. Now, for someone listening right now, maybe they're getting married or maybe they're the man thinking about popping the question and thinking, hey, this is maybe coming, or maybe I know you're not just weddings, you're maybe seniors getting closer to graduating, or maybe a junior who's thinking, it's coming sooner than I think. How can people get in contact with you to hire you to be their eyes and their future as creating these memories?
So on my Facebook and my Instagram, which is Quade Films, my website is linked, and you'll go on there and go through my contact form. I do not respond to Facebook messages, so I'm putting that out there again. I put it on my Facebook. I'm letting you know, if you message me on Facebook, you will not get a response. I don't even see them. Instagram takes me some time, so the best way to reach me is through my website, which is www.quadefilms.com. So there we
go. Really excited to see what the future will hold for you. Thanks for taking the time for us. And maybe, who knows, maybe in 5 or 10 years, we'll have you back on when you're shooting weddings in Italy and Australia. Does that sound good?
I would love to. Thanks for having me.
That's Mallory Thomas. That'll wrap us up here for this episode of Cougar Conversations. We'll have more on the halftime show after this.